Hello, welcome to this video on MMP Explained. Today we're going to go through what is it, how does it work, the pros and cons, and go through an election example. So what is it? MMP is a system which combines proportional representation in a constituency system. It manages to maintain the MP electorate connection whilst allowing for proportional representation. And due to this, there are two kinds of MPs: MMP list MPs and electorate MPs who have won an electorate, a constituency. Well, the equivalent of a constituency. MMP is used in several countries, including New Zealand, and MMP generally leads to multiple parties being in parliament. MMP further reduces the dominance of major parties and generally leads to coalition government. So basically, MMP is a system that combines proportional representation and electorates, allowing for MPs to maintain, MPs or members of parliament to maintain a connection with their electorates, whilst allowing for proportional representation. So how does it work? In MMP, voters have two votes, one for a party and one for an electoral candidate. The percent of party vote a party receives is the percent of seats that they are entitled to. These seats are first filled by the winners of electorates and then through list MPs, which are selected by going down a list which is generally created prior to the election by a party. So in MMP electorates or constituencies, basically the equivalent of a constituency or a house district, you first past the post, whereby the candidate who receives the most votes wins. In the case where a party receives more electorates than their party vote entitles them to, an overhang seat is created, thus simply adding an extra seat to parliament. Following an election, a coalition is generally formed between parties to form a government, as MMP leads to a lot of smaller parties being put into parliament. To form a government in New Zealand, a majority of seats in parliament are required, which is generally 61. However, the amount required can increase due to overhangs. So some of the pros of MMP is that it allows for proportional representation while maintaining an MP electorate connection. It allows minor parties to much more easily enter parliament, as they do the proportional representation, even though there is often a minimum segment of the vote. For example, in New Zealand, 5%. MMP encourages coalition building between parties, as it's very rare parties to receive a majority of the votes seats. For instance, in New Zealand, under MMP since 1996, even 1993, since 1996, there's only been one party who's ever managed to get a one-party majority, and that was Labour following the 2020 election. It reduces the amount of votes wasted due to the proportional representation used, and allows for more voter choice with every voter getting 2 votes, and reduces the dominance of the major parties. Some of the cons include the party which receives the most votes may not lead the government, such as National in 2017, and the MMP is more complex than other voting systems like first past the post with 2 votes and a proportional system both used. There's also a potential for overhang seats which can limit the proportionality, such as Te Pāti Māori in New Zealand getting 6 seats following the 2023 election, despite only being entitled to, I believe, 4. Due to smaller parties may also gain disproportionate levels of influence as larger parties are forced to almost kind of bow. They kind of have to listen to them. Otherwise, the small parties could simply just pull the plug on the coalition. Coalition governments can also be less stable than one-party governments. There's also limited accountability for list MPs, as they can enter parliament without actually winning themselves any votes, and the party does have to do well. So now let's go through an election example of the 2023 New Zealand election. So first on your left, there's the general electorates, the Māori electorates, and the list seats. So this shows that the National Party won 43 electorates, and 5 list seats because they're. So first, the winners of electorates would fill the party entitlement of 48 seats, and then the 5 additional list MPs. It happens with Labour, 17 electoral seats, and then 17 list seats. The Greens would fit the list is first filled by the 3 electoral seats, and then by 12 list seats, getting their total of 15, and so on for the ACT, New Zealand First, Te Pāti Māori. However, Te Pāti Māori received 3.08% of the vote, only entitling them to 4 seats in Parliament, which in turn led to overhang seats being created as they won 6 electorates. So on your left, you first see a table of the results showing all the parties in Parliament, and then top. So top would be an example of a party which may enter Parliament in the future, however failed to, as they did not reach the 5% threshold and only received 0.22, nor did they win an electorate. So what we can see on the left, further just to the right, is the total seats. You can see now shooking the 48 seats from the 43 electorates, and then the 5 list seats, and so forth. Below that you can see the Tamaki electorate, which is an example of how the electoral vote and the party vote can split. So ACT would receive 43.19% of the vote. In the electorate, it comes to the electoral vote for the candidate, which is Brookie Van Velden, but would only receive 12.36% of the party vote. While them incumbent MP Simeon O'Connor received 33.13% of the vote, while National level would receive 52.41%. So that just shows how sort of the electoral vote and the party vote can split in these elections. So to sum up, so far MMP is a system where they use proportional representation with electorates. Winners of electorates is filled. So every party gets party seat entitlement, and then the electoral seat winners first fill those seats. And then it's done by further going down by the list of MPs, with the ones who won an electorate obviously not being included there. So, yeah. So, thank you for watching. Feel free, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.